Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 3-game weekend Labor Day series against the Minnesota Twins. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby rejoins us, all rested and ready to go for the big drive. Ash?
Feeling good. 1 month to go, 28 games, and it's a nice stretch the Astros have to look forward to.
Bart Ennis will be here soon. Meanwhile, we flash back to a year ago today. Where were the Astros and Twins? 61 and 79. The Astros trail by 23.5. The Twins by 16.5 in their respective divisions.
The Astros would go on to win 71. The Twins just 70. That would be the end of Ron Gardenhire and his long reign as manager of the Twins. So, yeah, two teams that have really turned it around.
Meanwhile, our Toyota drive to the playoffs will show you what is happening right here and now in the races. The Astros have a 2-game lead, one in the loss column on the Rangers. The Twins right in the thick of the wild card race, a game and a half out of the second spot.
For the Astros, a little tighter than you'd probably like to see right about now, but it's also much, much better as we just saw from 1 year ago. The Astros are in a great spot now to finish with that final month.
George Springer returns to the lineup tonight, leading off. He's had his rehab games in the minors, and are they happy to get him back?
Yeah, I think this is one of the biggest reasons the Astros and their fans should be elated right now. Just coming into the ballpark today, the coaching staff was excited about the fact that George would be back in there. A guy with the great power we all know about. He was having a nice year. He's got the running game defensively, and there you see the running game. George can steal bases at a very high rate, and he'll pick them up all over the yard. And defensively, he's one of the game's elite outfielders in my mind. He can throw, he can do everything with the glove and out in right field. So the Astros get a big star back now with his reemergence tonight.
And we go down to the field, and Bart Ennis.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Yeah, George Springer has been like a caged animal down here in the dugout, both at home and on the road, for a couple of weeks now, because he knew that it was getting close to him, time for him to go down for a rehab start. That time finally came, and when it did, the other players were like, yeah, get him out of here. He's driving us nuts. He's like the little brother who is cooped up inside because it's raining all day and can't play. The energy level just goes off the charts. So I went down to AA and had a nice rehab stint down there trying to get his offensive timing back. He ended up going 5 for 18 with a double, scored 4 runs, and stole a base. Now, the stolen base came after his final at-bat there. He reached base, and they said, well, we can take you out of the game. No, I'm going to stay in the game, and he stole second base, almost as if to say, I am ready. Let's get on with this. So along those lines, we asked George just a few moments ago if there are any restrictions placed on him as he gets back in the lineup tonight. And his answer to that question was our Geico quote of the day.
No, you just go out and play. You know, there really isn't. You know, obviously now, you know, I got cleared to play, so you know I'm going to go out there and play. You know, there's going to be no hesitations. You know, just like I said, if I have to hit the wall, I will. You know, if I have to slide head first with this hand, I will. So, you know, I mean, I'm not going to hesitate.
Yeah. And as Alan said a moment ago, part of Springer's play is his play on the base path. He's part of the package that had the Astros off to such a great start. They still lead the American League in steals with 100. But early in the season, Springer, Altuve, Marisnick were getting on base and wreaking havoc with opponents by putting all that pressure on them. Hopefully, with Marisnick heating up a little bit now, they can get that type of play back on the field. So we're just about ready to go here with Game 1 of this series. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with Astros baseball right here on Root Sports. Stay with us.
is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Coming up, Sano problem. The Astros got a taste of how Miguel Sano can change a game last Sunday in Minneapolis. But the Twins rookie has a weakness that Colin McHugh would love to exploit. Ash and I will break it down when we come back. .69 and 64 record. The Astros 73 and 61. Should be a very meaningful series for both of these clubs. And tonight's Key to the Game is brought to you by your Houston area Chevy dealer, showing you Colin McHugh at home has really gotten things going. Last 7 home starts, 5-1 with a 2.30 ERA.
Over the month of August, he pitched extremely well, going just 2-2 in that month, but a fine ERA of 1.89. You go back over the last 13 months on Colin McHugh, he is 21-7 in that span. So he has been a steady winner along with Dallas Keuchel.
This is a very attractive young hitter, Miguel Sano. He has been bashing the ball with 8 homers, 17 runs batted in his last 15 games, Ash.
Well, you're talking about a guy that has 15 home runs. He didn't arrive in the major leagues until somewhere early in July. And now over the last 28 days, 10 home runs, 5 in the last 14. He just keeps slamming it, and he is a huge fella. 6'4", 260 is what he is listed as.
How can Colin McHugh get him out? Perhaps by going upstairs, according to that look, Ash.
Well, if that's accurate, you would want to stay up all the time. Maybe try to flip the breaking ball down and away occasionally, but stay with that heater up and see if you can prove those numbers correct.
Minnesota Twins have won 10 of their last 13 games. They've outscored their opponents 72-46 over that stretch. They're a tough opponent right now. They lead off with Aaron Hicks, who's just back from his own minor league rehab assignment, playing center field with Brian Dozier at second base. Home run hitting second, Sacker with 26. Joe Mauer's the first baseman. The DH and cleanup man is 21-year-old Miguel Sano, with Trevor Plouffe at third base, Eddie Rosario in left field, Torrey Hunter in right field, Kurt Suzuki the catcher, Eduardo Escobar at shortstop.
A little bit more on Colin McHugh, and he deserves it the way he's pitched. Seeking a 15th win here tonight. 3.92 the ERA, nice whip, and a home record of 9-3. He's been quite good here, although the ERA a little bit better on the road. 5 starts in August. There's those numbers we were talking about, that 1.89 ERA in the month of August.
And we get going with Aaron Hicks, the switch hitting center fielder. Hicks is 25 years old, was a first-round pick of the Twins in 08. And last year he hit only .215 with 186 at-bats. This year has improved quite a bit to .268, 8 homers, 25 runs batted in, a .318 on-base average for Aaron Hicks. An excellent defensive player. The infield has shifted around, playing him to pull. And he slices that one out of play, strike one. Hicks just returned, as we mentioned, from the disabled list. He had 4 games on a rehab assignment at AAA Rochester, going 7 for 17 with 2 doubles and a homer. He hit his first career leadoff homer August 12th against Texas. Bouncer back to McHugh. 1 out for Collin.
That defense behind Colin McHugh, who makes the first play of the night, features Colby Rasmussen left, Carlos Gomez in center, and George Springer back in right field. Left side of the infield, Jed Lowry and Carlos Correa. On the right, it's Jose Altuve and Luis Valbuena. Hank Conger does the catching.
Brian Dozier steps up to the plate. He is a threat to go deep. Infield shifts him to pull. He pops it back and out of play. There's strike one to Dozier. Dozier at .243 has 26 bombs, 68 runs batted in, and a .475 slugging percentage, and he was an all-star this year. 28 years old, from Tupelo, Mississippi, and the University of Southern Mississippi. That's out to right center field. Springer backing. 2 down for Colin McHugh. Twins and Astros are just about identical in runs scored for the year. The Twins have scored 1 more run than the Astros. McHugh faces Joe Mauer next.
How about the job of Paul Molitor? First year as the manager now. Has totally turned things around for the Twins.
He really has done a wonderful job. 7-time All-Star himself, Hall of Famer. Joe Mauer is 32 years old. He was 3 for 8 against the Astros in the series at Target Field. An opposite field hitter. There is ball 1 upstairs. Jim Reynolds is the home plate umpire. Well, Mauer may be having visions of taking aim on those Crawford boxes in left field in this park.
Jim Reynolds doesn't like that high strike.
Apparently not. 2-0. Mauer doesn't pull the ball that much anymore. But if he hits the deep fly ball at Target Field, quite often it's caught short of the wall. That's a big ballpark. And he's been known for that over his career. So knowing that, how do you work around that situation if you're calling the game as Hank Conger is tonight, Ash?
Well, you hate falling behind. 2-0, a very dangerous count there, but the little cutter was thrown, and that's what Colin tends to rely on when he's behind in counts. He'll throw the curveball when he's sharp with that pitch. He's not a guy that has to throw a fastball in fastball counts.
2-2 as the curve works for a strike. Would you tend to want to try to make Mauer pull the ball, come in hard on him, or the off-speed stuff like we've seen, the cutter and then the curveball, just a variety of approaches to keep him from getting his arms extended and driving it to left field?
Yeah, I think that's fair. He doesn't hit the home run much anymore, and he does like to hit it the other way, and that has led to the 3 batting titles.
Rasmus back. It's over his head off the wall. Mauer heads for second with an opposite field double. Good throw. It's backed up by Luis Valbuena after skipping by Altuve. A double for Mauer, his 26th of the year, and he got his opposite field hit.
Yeah, there you go, Brownie. That's exactly what Joe Mauer does best. He's not having one of those batting title type seasons at this point. Now look at our strike zone presented by MD Anderson. Watch this little effort to come in with the cutter, but left through the plate, and even with that pitch being on the inner third, Mauer will drive it the other way. Looked initially like Colby Rasmus might have a play on it.
Miguel Sano is the batter. The infield playing him as a dead pull hitter. Sano leans back, and there's strike one. He has hit the fastball to much better success than the off-speed stuff. 14 homers, 41 runs batted in. To make it 15 and 52 for Sano. Sano went deep in yesterday's game, hit a ball 400 some odd feet. He's been playing with a bad hamstring, and he's been instructed not to run hard. They grounded into a double play and just trotted up the line.
With Miguel Sano being just 22 years of age, I don't know if he's grown into his body all the way yet.
Line drive hit. Mauer around third. Carlos Gomez fires to the plate. Conger with a one-hop throw, and Mauer is out. What a job by Hank Conger on the collision with Mauer. He holds on for out number 3 on a brilliant play. The play at home plate, and the guesswork is he's challenging Hank Conger for blocking the plate without the baseball. Ash.
Yeah, there's no question about the tag being applied before Mauer gets to the plate, so let's throw that one out. But is Conger deemed to be blocking the plate there before Mauer gets there? For me, you can't be. And the rule says you can't block the plate without the baseball. They are calling him out at the plate. Okay. Thought I saw a safe sign, and that scared me. But to me, that's absolutely what a catcher has to do in that situation.
That's our Super Mo presented by Mattress Firm. And Conger put himself right out there. That's where the throw took him. And he stayed in to make the play on the tag on Mauer. Now Conger takes care of that third out, and we look at the Astros starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines in an action-packed top of the first inning. We go to the bottom of the first with George Springer returning to the lineup for the first time since early July. He's in right field and leading it off. Jose Altuve bats second at second base. At shortstop, Carlos Correa batting third. The DH is Evan Gattis with Jed Lowry at third base. Carlos Gomez in center field. Colby Rasmus in left field. Luis Valbuena at first base. Hank Conger the catcher.
And on the hill for these Minnesota Twins, Mike Pelfrey. Big right-hander, stands 6'7", weighs in at 240. He's had some career numbers against the Astros. 7 starts. This is his 8th. 3-3 in those previous 7. The Astros have gotten to him, though, to the tune of a .304 batting average against and an ERA just under the 4 mark for Pelfrey. He's a guy, and in fact the only pitcher in all of baseball to have made at least 5 starts without giving up a home run this year. He does keep it in the yard. Defensively, behind Pelfrey, the Twins have Eddie Rosario in left field, Aaron Hicks in center, and Torrey Hunter in right. They can go get it. Left side of the infield, Trevor Plouffe and Eduardo Escobar. On the right, Brian Dozier and Joe Mauer, and Kurt Suzuki does the catching.
Now here's the welcome back for George Springer. As Astros fans greeting the return of Springer to the lineup enthusiastically on this big and bright Friday night. And Springer, after his rehab assignment, said no holds barred as he returns. 264, 13 homers, 29 runs batted in. Belfry misses, and it's ball one on Springer. Springer has been dynamic as the Astros leadoff man. He has a .365 on base average for the season. The media was asking Jose Altuve whether he felt slighted with Springer taking the spot he's been in, and he's been so successful in leading off, and he said not at all.
You know what? When you can hit, you can hit.
Ooh. 2-1.
All three pitches in that same area. See the first two off the plate, and this one just catching a piece.
Springer grounds a single into right field. And that's the way he returns to the Houston lineup.
Well, that's the George Springer that got red hot. It started with that 5-for-5 game against the White Sox in Chicago, and he carried it over for a good long while. Staying on the baseball, utilizing right field and center. Might have gotten tied up a little bit, but found the hole. And now that speed is aboard. Welcome back.
Jose Altuve was on a rampage in the month of August as the leadoff man. He leads the league in hits right now. Springer attracting a throw. George has 14 steals in 17 tries. Altuve with 163 hits is atop the American League leaderboard, and he's tied for 6th in batting average at .315 with 11 homers, 55 runs batted in. Springer takes off. Altuve grounds one into right field behind him. Springer heads for third, and it's magic. Springer to third on the Altuve hit, and it is working immediately as Springer returns.
Yeah, if you can get that kind of work at the top of the order, it certainly should help this team offensively. But Altuve has been on a tear as he continues to push that batting average upward. You can see the body posture there said right field all the way. Yeah, I like you back.
The band is back together again, and now it's Carlos Correa. 16 homers, 45 runs batted in, a .276 average. He looks at ball one from Pelfrey. Pelfrey took a loss as the Astros won the game in Minnesota 4-1. He gave up 7 hits and 4 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. Ground ball, double play ball here. Escobar to Dozier, and Dozier does not get to the run scores to make it 1-0. Looked like a routine 2-hop double play ball, but Correa beat it out and got his 46th run batted in.
And again, welcome back to George Springer. You get that run in the first inning. Always nice to be able to get. I don't see any flaw there in the double play effort, but that speed of Correa clearly beats it.
Correa aboard for Evan Gattis. Gattis hits one to third, and there's the out at second and the relay to first. So Plouffe, Dozier, and Mauer turn 2. It's 1 run, 2 hits, nobody left. The Astros lead it 1-0 after 1.
Astros ball game with family-friendly activities at every Sunday home game presented by Kroger. The next Family Sunday is this weekend when the Astros take on the Twins. For more information, go to astros.com/Sundays or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. This is a big series for both of these teams, guys, as the Twins, of course, are right in the middle of that wild card chase. A.J. Hinch was asked before the game about his team getting Springer back and how Springer could help keep everybody loose as they go down the stretch here. And A.J. said, this team doesn't have a problem staying loose. This team is having a great time playing baseball. These guys are all young enough. They've never been through the stretch run like this before. They're not feeling a whole lot of pressure, and the coaches are trying to encourage them to continue to just have fun and play hard the way they've been doing all season long, whether George is out there or not.
That was strike one to Trevor Plouffe leading off the second inning. 1-0 Astros. Plouffe has driven in 73. Puts that one in the air toward the right field corner. A long run for Springer, and that ball is foul. Hit pretty well by Plouffe, though.
Trevor Plouffe showing off some of what has bought him 18 home runs on the year. That fly ball the other way had home run distance.
This Twins lineup is last in the league in on-base average. But that almost made it over to the right field foul pole. Just a few feet foul. Bouncer to Altuve. One out. Of course, the Twins really have struggled to hit home runs at home in huge target field. On the road, they've hit 54. But they have some dynamic young players. Here's a guy who's been a nice surprise for them this season, Eddie Rosario. He leads all major league rookies with 14 outfield assists, but on the offensive side has had a nice balance. 271, 9 homers, 37 runs batted in. He's had 15 doubles and 10 triples.
One of those home runs, a grand slam yesterday.
And yet the Twins, who had the lead, lost that game to the White Sox. Rosario has hit .331 at Target Field. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Colin McHugh pitching for the first time this season against the Twins. His last start was at Yankee Stadium. That was his first career start at that venue, and it went well. Colin got the win, 6-2. Foul back, 1 ball, 2 strikes. McHugh now, since August 1st, 2014, has gone 21-7 with a 3.31 ERA in 36 starts. So on the big stage against the Yankees in a hitter's ballpark, Colin was dealing. He gets a strikeout on Rosario on the curveball. First strikeout of the night.
Watch as Rosario swings through it. Nice job blocking the pitch by Hank Conger, and Rosario just concedes the out at that point. I wouldn't say that's the greatest hustle from a young player I've seen.
None whatsoever. Tap foul by Torrey Hunter. Hunter with 18 homers, 64 runs batted in, has a .230 average. His average has been dropping off. He didn't do a whole lot of hitting in the month of August. Now 39 years old. Up and in for a ball, 1-1, but he's had a glittering career, 349 homers. Ranks high on many of the all-time offensive Minnesota Twins lists. Tap to first. In between Hopper, Valbuena. And it's a quick second inning for Colin McHugh and a 1-0 Houston lead. that. Fireworks after the game?
I'll be right back, Bronny.
You don't need a haircut, do you?
No, it's the food I had my eyes on.
Oh, okay. We may be twins, but we root for the Astros. Ah, some twins.
Nice.
Cute twins. Very nice sign. Jed Lowry steps in the box. The bottom of the second inning gets underway for Mike Pelfrey. He trails 1-0. That's ball one. Lowry with a .235 average has 6 homers, 19 runs batted in. Jed was 5 for 11 with a homer in the Seattle series. Pops it up. Kloof comes over and is back behind the Twins dugout for a 1-1 count. The Twins have played well here at Minute Maid Park. They are 11-6 in Houston. And the Astros found them difficult to beat at Target Field, losing 2 of 3 to Paul Molitor's Twins. Began the day 13 games behind Kansas City. So there's really no outlook of competing anymore for the top spot in the AL Central, but that wild card is certainly within their reach. The second wild card, they're a game and a half behind Texas for that spot. That's cracked to center field. Hicks going back. Hicks on the run. And Aaron Hicks can't flag it down. Here's Lowry into second with a long double. He put a charge into that one. 13th double for Lowry.
Hicks can go in center field too, but he didn't have enough go to get to this one. These leadoff hits can go a long ways for the Astros, especially the two-bagger.
He almost flagged that down. Really close to a great catch.
Looked at that last instant like he might grab it.
Now the former Twin, Carlos Gomez. And he hits a shot. Mauer with a big-time pickup. Also prevented Lowry from advancing. He drew back his arm immediately, and Jed had to go back to second base. Great play by Mauer. 1 out.
Of course, Joe Mauer used to be a catcher. He has not caught a single inning this year. He's a first baseman, DH kind of a guy, and that was a sweet pick. And that alertness of a guy who has been behind the plate and maybe seeing what could happen on the play. That sharply hit ball could result in an out at third.
Colby Rasmus swings. There's strike one. Rasmus with 17 homers, 46 runs batted in, has a .227 batting average. He was 2 for 9 in the Seattle series. Left-handed hitters .292 against Pelfrey. Right-handed hitters .295 against him. He misses, and it's 1-1. Pelfrey has been among the stingiest pitchers when it comes to allowing home runs. He has not given up a long ball since Chris Iannetta dinged him July 22nd in Anaheim. That's more than 42 innings of work without giving up a home run. It's going to end on a deep drive to right. Colby Rasmus, a 2-run shot, 3-0 Houston.
Are you going to get part of that home run in your stats at the end of the year?
No, but what timing. That's number 18.
That is beautiful. I am so glad you came through with that stat. And I know Colby Rasmus is.
48 runs batted in for Colby. He drilled that one deep. And the Astros hit number 181. They're second to Toronto in long balls. Luis Valbuena takes strike one. Valbuena with 22 homers has 49 runs batted in with a .209 batting average. 391-footer by Rasmus. It's 1-1. The Astros really were held down in that series at Target Field. They scored 11 runs in 3 games, hit 182, and really struggled to get a whole lot going. And it wasn't as if the Twins starters were keeping them down. It was more of the Twins relief corps. But Pelfrey in that start lasted 3 2/3, as we mentioned, losing at 4-1 to Mike Fiers in Minnesota. Buena rolls over on that one, still a 1-2 count, and yet the Twins, it's been remarkable the ride that they've been on. They're 5 games over 500, and yet they've been outscored by their opponents by 4 runs. They are 13th out of 15 teams in quality starts. The Astros starting pitchers have pitched about 50 innings more than the Twins starting pitchers, but Minnesota's right there. 2-2. You can't explain everything with numbers, right, Ash?
At some point, those numbers are going to turn around and go the other way. But if you're Paul Molitor and his coaching staff, I'm sure they're very proud of what they've been able to do. George Springer's pretty proud at the moment.
As a liner out to right center field, Hicks going for it. Hicks laying out with a sliding play. He gets there. 2 outs.
Colby Rasmus left nobody with any chance other than folks in the cheap seats. They tried to come in, and Colby just cut that swing off, got the barrel to it. Quite impressive. And again, against a guy who just doesn't give up the long ball.
Upper deck for Colby. Hank Conger follows. Conger looks at ball 1. With 9 homers, 22 runs batted in. He's hitting .213. Infield shifts around for Conger. He went 2 for 9 and homered in the Seattle series. And he's going to lay down a bunt, but he fouled it. We were talking about that the other night with the way the shift is. He attempted to do what we had discussed, but he didn't get it down, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, and I say why not? With 1 out, or rather a couple of outs now in the inning. See if you can go ahead and get George Springer up to the plate with a man aboard.
Excellent point. Escobar is just not close enough to be able to make a play on him. He grounds, and the shift is there. Dozier comes rushing in for the play. Rasmus rips the 2-run long ball into the upper tank in right. The Astros lead grows to 3-0.
Move to the third, and it's time to play Name That Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. This Astro was once dubbed the new Warren Spahn. So, you know, you're talking about a pitcher. He also once said that the Astrodome was the worst field in baseball. Soon after making that statement, his team was here playing the Astros, and he was traded to the Astros while playing on that said worst field in baseball. So, send us a tweet if you know who this was. We'll name that Astro a little bit later in the game. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Bart. 3-0 lead for Houston. The Twins come up with Kurt Suzuki leading it off in the third inning. That's in for Colin McHugh, strike one on Suzuki, a .244 hitter, 4 homers, 43 runs batted in.
I'm intrigued by that clue, the Warren Spahn. I don't recall how that read, but
the new Warren Spahn.
That tells me maybe he had a screwball, maybe he was lefty, maybe he hit with power.
Maybe he was a screwball who was a lefty.
There you go. Well, which one? Well, okay, I won't go any further with that one.
I have somebody in mind, but don't want to give it away. 1-1.
Say that about the power. Warren Spahn hit a bunch of home runs.
That's true. Liner into center field. Suzuki is on with hit number 3 for the Twins. And Escobar will follow. Escobar, for a number 9 hitter, has some pretty decent numbers. 25 doubles, 8 homers, 42 runs batted in, and a .265 batting average for him. And he's been fine at shortstop, they say, for the Twins this year. Only 5 errors. He's played other positions as well. He's played more games at short than any other, but quite a bit at third, some at second, and even some outfield games. There's ball 1 to Escobar. In addition to George Springer joining the Astros from AA Corpus Christi, right-handed pitcher Michael Phillies has made that move from Corpus Christi to Houston for this game. Foul tip makes it 1-1. The Astros, having lost a couple to Seattle in that series, have lost 2 of their last 3 series. Ground ball, and that goes the other way. Escobar singles into left center. Suzuki to second base, and the Twins have something working with nobody out.
Well, that's that case of the fastball down and away with the left side of the infield uncovered. Maybe not as down as it was intended to be, but put it out there, and it kind of leaves the only option to hit the ball that way.
Aaron Hicks comes to the plate. He's from San Pedro, California, a place you know a little bit about, Ash.
That is home.
Yeah. Hicks grounded back to Colin McHugh first time up. Infield stays in that shift. He's showing bunt and taking ball 1. Conger came out of the chute.
By the way, Brownie, back to Warren Spahn. He hit 35 home runs as a major league pitcher, tied for second most ever.
Formidable total.
Wes Farrell has the major league record, 37.
He was a great hitter. McHugh steps off. Hicks was a .201 career hitter coming into this season. Byron Buxton played some center field against the Astros at Target Field. We may be seeing him in the lineup in one of these upcoming games this weekend. And Hicks can play all 3 outfield spots, so there's a possibility that Hicks could move to right. So that would be, according to the folks who follow the Minnesota Twins, if they have Rosario in left and Buxton in center and Hicks in right, a tremendous athletic outfield with great coverage. Line drive right field. Springer over for it. Springer reaches up and snags it. Gets it back in on out number 1. There's some coverage in right.
I'm asking myself, did George get fooled by this ball a bit? glanced up at the lights there at the last moment. Watch as he comes after the ball, charging hard, and then had to reach up high. Not sure George intended for that extra reach there at the end.
Looks like it might have. Brian Dozier hit the ball in the air to Springer, his first time up. Strike for Colin McHugh, shooting for win number 15 of the season. Dallas Keuchel has 16 wins. Those two have been quite an entry for a 1-2 punch in a pitching staff this season. Foul ball. Keuchel will pitch here on Sunday. Keuchel's Corner getting ready for that one because it's a special Star Wars Keuchel's Corner. Sunday a 1:10 start. Tyler Duffy of Houston and Rice University will oppose Keuchel on Sunday. Tomorrow night it's Lance McCullers versus Irvin Santana at 6:10. Foul back, still 0-2. So with McHugh and Keuchel combining for 30 wins, that's the most by any pair of teammates in the majors this season. The Astros haven't done that. 30 wins from two pitchers in the same year since 06 when Roy Oswalt had 15 and Andy Pettitte had 14 for 29. Upstairs and it's 1-2. Yankees are at home and they lead Tampa Bay 3-1. They're in the top of the 7th inning. Luis Severino has a good game going for the Pinstripers. Yankees are currently holding down wild card spot number 1 in the AL, and there's a strikeout of Dozier. Number 2 for McHugh.
In honor of Mike Fiers and the 11th no-hitter in Astros history, all View Deck tickets will be only $11 for the Twins versus Astros game tomorrow night. All fans in attendance will also receive a commemorative Mike Fiers no-hitter poster. For more information, visit Astros.com/no-hitter or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Definitely a collectible. Joe Mauer doubled to left in the first inning. He takes the off-speed curve for strike 1. And that would be one way to make it tougher for Mauer to hit to the opposite field with the off-speed stuff. He would really have to stay back to do that, Ash.
He does quite well at that, though. He'll keep those hands back as well as anybody you watch. And then doesn't let the barrel get below the baseball. He stays right with it.
It's 1-1. Mauer just has been sensational in his career. In 06, he hit .347 to win his first of 3 batting titles. He won another one in 08 and a third in 09, hitting .365 that year. And the injuries started to mount. And concussions have forced him from behind the plate to first base. Fouls it back.
Who's that pitcher talking about? Just 88 on the heat, but well spotted.
That's a great thing that so many fans enjoy about a confrontation like this one. Knowing what kind of hitter Mauer is, how savvy Colin McHugh is. Just watch the battle unfold each time they square off tonight. And watch both of these guys do their thing, because they'll both be thinking and trying to outwit the other guy and figure it out on the fly, right?
Well, you could see a bit of that ability of Mauer to stay back with the hands on that curveball, which induces a lot of swings. But Mauer saw it very easily, quiet with the body.
He has been tremendous. He's walked more than he has struck out in his career. That is very hard to find. Coming into this season anyway.
He's got some throwback type numbers.
Oh, Colin McHugh just missing, and it goes to 3-2 on a close one.
It's tough being on the hill. You make a quality pitch, but there's that big name at the plate, and he'll get the close ones, generally speaking, and that was off the plate.
Bauer's third in batting average with runners in scoring position in the American League. 356. Big 3-2 pitch coming with the runners going. And he got him on strikes. Very important strikeout early in the game for Colin McHugh with 2 men on base. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left after 2 leadoff singles, and he gets out of it. 3-0. Altuve, Correa in any order, but with those 3 batting in the top 3 spots, look at the difference in offense for the Astros.
That changes everything. That's a 1.5 a game difference, and we've seen it already tonight with that first inning. Springer and Altuve with hits. A run comes in as Carlos Correa grounds into a force play. But those are 3 pretty darn good bats at the top of any order.
And now there is strike 1 to George Springer, who led off the Astros first with a single to right, advanced on an Altuve hit to right, and scored on a force play. Springer coming right back in and making an impact his first time up, back with the big league club since July 2nd when he went on the DL with a right wrist fracture. 1 ball, 1 strike. His wrist was in a cast for weeks. Shook off a little dust in the minors, and he is going to go full bore now, although A.J. Hinch said tonight before the game in his media session that George probably will not play Sunday, so he'll work him tonight, tomorrow night, a day off Sunday, and then at least have a day off next Thursday if he plays in all 3 games of the next series in Oakland. That's the thing about the Astros schedule. They do have Thursdays off here in the upcoming few weeks, and that will cause some changes in the rotation.
Has Dallas Keuchel filed a protest yet about Springer not being in there Sunday?
Oh, that's a good question. Don't know. Struck him out looking. Name That Astro has some early responses.
They're kind of all over the map. Yeah, I saw the Bob Nepper. Bob wasn't quite back that far. And Randy Johnson would probably slam you if you heard that. Phil Garner, the next Warren Spahn. Jeff Jude, right-hander. And you feel like you know this one.
Not anymore. Jose Altuve takes ball 1. No.
Okay.
Altuve slapped a single into right field behind Springer, who was running on the pitch. He had 45 hits in August. Escobar, 2 outs for Pelfrey. And Correa will follow. Belfry's making his 26th start of the year.
A batted bat right there by Altuve, to me, typifies what goes on when a guy's swinging it well. That ball appeared to be right on the screws of the barrel that he hit it. He just rolled over just a touch.
Correa takes ball one. He got an RBI when he bounced into a force play. He beat the Rap on a double play. Belfry was a first-round pick of the Mets in '05. He was the 9th player drafted that year. He went to Wichita State. Broke Darren Dreiford's career ERA record. He falls behind 2-0. He's walked 42 this year, 145 innings. That's fouled away first base side. It's 2 balls 1 strike to Carlos Correa. .61 and 78 for Belfry, a 4.47 career ERA. 3-1. Correa's autographed bat brought at a charity auction a couple $1,000s.
Oh, but had a lot of hits in it.
Yeah. 3-2. He's a hot commodity, and why not? He's earned it. Correa and Sano. This is going to be an interesting series for those who like to peek into the future. Belfry gets a punch out. That's his second. And after 3, it's 3-0 Astros.
You can join the Beard Alliance for Star Wars Day edition of Keuchel's Corner and get a ticket, a beard, and a special edition Star Wars Keuchel's Corner t-shirt for this Sunday's game against the Twins. For more information, go to astros.com/Keuchel's Corner or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Here's a look at the special t-shirt you will get if you come out to that one. It's got the bearded face on the front. It says, "The beard is strong" with this one, as it is. And you have to wonder if if he is the dark lord of the underworld of pitching to the opponent, which I think he is. And if he's really got the force going tomorrow, guys, you'll see him close his eyes on the mound and throw the pitch.
Ah.
Huh? I'd like to be standing in the batter's box for that. That's coming up Sunday. Excuse me, Sunday.
Right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Miguel Sano, the batter. He singled in the first inning. And he takes ball 2.
It sounded like an Eddie Feiner skit. King in his court would close his eyes occasionally.
Throw pitches behind his back, call in his outfielders for a rest. Sano's out in front, and it's 2-2. Sano this season has hit .338 on fastballs, .260 on off-speed pitches. He rolls this one off the mound. It goes out to Jose Altuve. Of course, he's not going to run. He's been told not to run with a hamstring problem. And the infielders are going to have all kinds of time on ground balls by Miguel Sano in this series.
Well, Colin goes by that book we were talking about. Bring it up on him, and that's a very weak swing by Sano. Of course, he'd also seen a slow curveball in that sequence, and that might have set up that pitch.
Excellent point. 1 out for Trevor Plouffe. He grounded out to Altuve. Strike to Plouffe. Another homegrown Twin. First round pick in '04. The Twins are big on that. They have really been emphasizing developing their own players for many years. A cutter makes it 1-1. Their bench coach is Joe Vavra. He came from the Dodger organization. Also known for decades for the homegrown players and the attention they paid. And Joe said when he came to Minnesota, it was very much that same type emphasis, but the Twins don't have the high dollar staff that the Dodgers have in the minor leagues. Out to center field. Gomez backing. Gomez will not make the catch. This one sails over his head. Goes up Tal's Hill. Plouffe into second base, and now he's going to get back, and the tag. Oh, they almost got him. Valbuena did a great job of trailing him. Altuve whirled, put a throw right on the bag to Valbuena, and that made it close on Plouffe.
Altuve got rid of this ball so quickly onto Valbuena. Watch how this all sets up. And I thought it was a misread in center field by Gomez as he darted toward right center and then had to go back hard and really was nowhere close. But then it all started. Altuve takes this and whirls around and quickly releases. It's a good effort defensively.
Quite a throw from Gomez on the fly to Altuve. Plouffe winds up with his 30th two-base hit. He's aboard for Rosario. That's hit number 5 for the Twins. The Astros have 4 hits. Rosario looks at a strike. He struck out in the second inning. He hits out of that closed stance. He's 23 years old, from Puerto Rico. 4th round pick in 2010 by Minnesota. Torrey Hunter's on deck. Out to center field. Gomez with the catch. 2 outs.
Some outfielders like to throw, others maybe a little reluctant to do so, but it appears that Gomez loves to cut it loose out there.
He certainly does. Has a very strong arm. Torrey Hunter grounded out in the second inning. With the September call-ups, actually the return of George Springer from the disabled list and the call-up of Michael Feliz, the Astros now have 31 players on their roster. There's ball 1. We had a question on Twitter, Ash, about when Jason Castro will be back. Well, he is feeling pretty good for somebody who was just injured in Minnesota last weekend in that series. He thinks he might be able to come back after the 15 days.
Well, that would be great news. Obviously, he's a boost defensively.
Correa takes care of out number 3. No runs a hit and a man stranded. 3-0 Astros in the 4th.
Takes us back to August 29th when the Astros played a little small ball to beat the Twins. 3 runs on 5 hits in the 4th inning. That knocked out Mike Pelfrey, who's working it tonight. Saw the rake shot to right field by Colby Rasmus, and then some balls start kind of flipping around. Luis Valbuena had a little bat flip of his own, and Jake Marisnick thumbs one into center field. When it's all said and done, Altuve finishes things and chases Pelfrey in the process.
Now 3-0. Evan Gattis takes strike 1 from Pelfrey. Bottom of the 4th inning. Gattis bounced into a 5-4-3 double play in the 1st. Yankees lead the Rays 5-1. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Yankee Stadium. And for a strike, and it's 0-2. The Rays are just 1 game under 500. Gattis takes. That makes it a 1-ball 2-strike count. Apparently Mark Teixeira will miss a couple of weeks with that deep bone bruise on his leg for the Yankees.
He's had a hard time staying healthy in recent years. Still puts up big numbers.
Off the plate, 2-2 to Gattis. Lowry and Gomez to follow. The Yankee Blue Jay race will come to a head as they meet each other soon. Toronto's leading the Yanks by a 1.5 games right now. That's into right field. Gattis with the inside out swing. Great job with his hands. Leadoff single for Gattis.
I'll tell you what, Pelfrey runs it up there good and hard. 94 on this heater as he runs it in on the hands. It is nice work. You can see the cutoff job there, like the Rasmus home run where he had to kind of get the hands inside quickly.
Jed Lowry hit the ball well to left center for a double leading off the 2nd inning. He rode home on the Rasmus 2-run bomb. Ball 1 to Lowry, who was 0 for 8 in Minnesota last weekend. A-Rod hit his 27th home run for the Yankees. He hadn't been doing a whole lot lately. Brian McCann, number 24. Greg Bird, number 4. All off Jake Odorizzi. Evan Longoria, number 18 for Tampa Bay. in the dirt, 2-0. No, the worst team in terms of winning percentage right now in the American League is Oakland at 58-76, a .433 winning percentage. There are 5 teams in the National League with worse winning percentages: Miami, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, and Colorado. The Atlanta Braves are on a 9-game losing streak now. They've lost 80. The Phillies have lost 81. Lowry works the count to 3-0. Atlanta and Washington currently are tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Washington has 2 series coming up with the Mets between now and the end of the season. The Mets lead them by 6 games. Other than those 2 series, Washington doesn't play anybody with a winning record. Tap foul. So Nationals do have a chance, even with the 6-game margin, to put a run together.
That's pretty good sized hole to dig themselves out of, but
it is.
It would seem in terms of talent they could pull off a big run.
MVP candidate Bryce Harper has hit his 32nd home run of the year tonight. Lowry takes, and it's 3-2. 48 pitches for Pelfrey here in the 4th inning. Congratulations to the Astros AAA player Matt Duffy. He's been named MVP of the Pacific Coast League. For Fresno, .295, 18 homers, 102 runs batted in, 90 runs scored for Matt Duffy. An OPS of .845. Runner goes. That one's into left field. Gaddis will stop as Rosario gets to the ball. He had his eye on third base, but Rosario got there. And Lowry also did a good job with the inside-out swing with his hands on the 3-2 single.
Shifts are getting bruised a little bit here this evening. Lowry's left thumb might be bruised as this one gets in on him. It's a nice fight job. And again, dealing with Pelfrey, you're not talking about a soft tosser.
2 men on for the Astros, nobody out. Carlos Gomez hit a bullet toward right field. Mauer picked it and made a great play to get him out. Gomez is on an 8-game hitting streak. Trying a bunt, and it's strike 1. Matt Duffy's 26 years old. He's come up through the Astros system. He's been an all-star 5 times, putting up big numbers this year for the Fresno Grizzlies. 29 doubles and a terrific MVP season. Donnie Wall was an MVP at AAA for the Astros, as was James Mouton, and Dave Roberts back in the day won that award. 0-2. Duffy was a 20th round draft choice in 2011. The Astros may have more call-ups here in September, but they have 7 playoff teams in the minor leagues. So they'll wait until they finish their playoff runs, unless they have a need. Right-hander Blaine Boyer is tuning up in the Twins bullpen. That's off the plate. 1-2 to Gomez. Gomez, the former Twin, is a .345 career hitter against the Twins.
Talked about the high strike maybe not being called tonight. There's your low strike. Right there at the front of the plate, catching the knees.
Boyer at work. Liner over shortstop into left center field. Gaddis gets the stop sign. Long throw to the plate from Rosario. Bases loaded, nobody out on 3 straight singles. 9-game hitting streak for Gomez.
New to Houston and looking to get to know the city better. With our Welcome to Houston package, we invite you to tour Minute Maid Park and enjoy an Astros game this Saturday. For tickets, visit Astros.com/welcome to Houston, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS. A little bit of flair in that base hit by Gomez.
Conference at the mound for the Twins. Neil Allen is their pitching coach. Now Gomez now with that 9-game hitting streak, 1 for 2 tonight. So during that stretch, he's 11 for his last 33 for a .333 average.
Take a peek at what Gomez does on this swing. Watch after the base hit. Yeah, that's pretty good bat flip. And that's not a real popular move with opposing benches.
Not with Joe Girardi.
This throw is kind of a launch grenade coming in from left field.
Colby Rasmus has the bases loaded, nobody out. He crushed a 2-run homer in the second. Now Ryan O'Rourke is warming up, a lefty for the Twins. Ball 1 to Rasmus. Baltimore leads at Toronto. It's 6-2 in the top of the 8th inning. It's a packed house every night at Toronto now. In for a strike. Ash, you spent a few years in Toronto. Do they have a Canadian national holiday about every 2 weeks there?
Yeah, that's pretty close. But they're going to throw some more of those if those Blue Jays get on to the postseason, maybe the World Series. It has been a while for them.
93.
You talk about sellouts there. You're talking 45, 46,000 a game right now.
1-2 to Rasmus. The Astros have outscored their opponents by 94 runs this year. But in August, it was much more difficult for them to score, and their hope coming into this game tonight was that with George Springer returning to the lineup, they could return to their prowess offensively.
Early on in the season, much of that was credited to the offense. Now it's more about the pitching.
Yeah, they've gone through different phases. 2-2. It was interesting to note that the Twins in August were 14-14 with a 4.82 ERA. The Astros in August were 15-13 with a 2.61 ERA. So only 1 game better than the Twins, despite an ERA of more than 2 runs lower.
And if you're looking at ballparks, you would figure the advantage to the pitching staff would go to the Twins.
Rasmus strikes out. Big one for Pelfrey for out number 1. That's his 3rd. And Valbuena will bat next. Hicks made a fine catch on Valbuena in the 2nd inning. Ervin Santana last Sunday in Minnesota beat the Astros, and prior to that the Twins had 8 games in a row with their starter failing to go 6 innings. That's ball 1. So the bullpen has indeed been handed a heavy burden, but still somehow through it all the Twins are in the thick of things, and that's why this weekend is so big for both of these clubs.
And that's not by design from management with the Twins, I assume, unlike Tampa Bay, who with a lot of the pitchers they can only go twice through the order.
True. A cut by Valbuena and a miss makes it 1-1. And the big issue with the Twins, in addition to some pitchers who really aren't performing the way the Twins had hoped, are injuries to a couple of their mainstays. Phil Hughes, their opening day starter, is on the disabled list, and so is Ricky Nolasco. a free agent. One and two, and Pelfrey is really coming after these hitters despite the bases being loaded, nobody out when he faced Rasmus. He's been throwing his fastball this season about 73% of the time. That ranks very high among major league pitchers.
Well, he goes mid-90s and has some nice sink on it. You can see why he keeps the ball in the ballpark generally until Colby Rasmus came along with an assist from Bill Brown.
Buena's fooled on a pitch and strikes out. We're told that Pelfrey's throwing his fastball just 57% of the time tonight. That's his fourth punch out.
Well, he went to 3 straight heaters and blew each one by Valbuena. This last one at 95. You can see the running action to go with that velocity.
Now Hank Conger. Conger grounded out in the second inning. George Springer's on deck. Conger looks at ball one. Conger has hit 9 home runs this season. One more and he gives the Astros a new club record for players hitting 10 home runs or more. They have had 9 of those. There are some other candidates as well to reach double figures. 2-0. Just contributions from throughout this lineup, no matter who's in there. Part of it has been the injury bug. Jed Lowry missed a couple of months with an injury. George Springer missed a couple of months with an injury. So the lineup has been in flux throughout much of the year. Fly ball left field. Conger. They're getting up. Grand slam. Second grand slam of the year for Conger. 7-0 Astros. Conger hits number 10.
You go from an early, fairly nice little 3-0 lead, and on one swing open it semi-wide open. Well, those grand slams come in handy, don't they?
Third of the year for the Astros. They've been by the catchers. 2 and Castro 1.
Yeah, we got to get Castro back so we can get this battle even. Beautiful job. And taking advantage of the Crawford boxes.
Now George Springer fouls it. There's a strike to George, and the Astros with 2 homers tonight have scored 6 of their 7 runs on the long ball. Conger now with 10 homers has 26 runs batted in. Second career grand slam for Conger and second this year. He hit his first one off Arizona's Jeremy Hellickson August 1st here. He's probably getting to love those Crawford boxes. 7 of his 10 homers have come as a left-handed batter. And left-handed, Conger came into this game with a .561 slugging percentage. Springer takes it. 2-2 to George. He's 1 for 2. It's an odd inning. 3 straight singles, but nobody scored. Then 2 strikeouts. Then a grand slam. Strike 3. Pelfrey strikes out 3, but he gives up 3 singles, and then Conger puts one into the seats and left. 4 runs batted in on that swing, and the Astros are up by 7.
It's time for our progressive fan of the game. Today we are celebrating a major birthday from a major Astros fan. Bradley is here for his birthday. How old are you, Bradley?
4.
4? Is that 4? There you go. So we were sitting here a minute ago, and Conger hits that home run. What do we do when they hit the grand slam? That's what I'm talking about right there. The whole section was on their feet because of Bradley. Happy birthday, pal. Great job. Got some autographs on that hat. It's been one heck of a day, Brownie. Back up to you.
Thought he was going to hold up 4 fingers again for the grand slam.
Well, we don't want to challenge him more than once in a live shot. This isn't math class, you know.
All right. Thanks, Bart. A lot of signatures there. Bradley, cute little guy, 4 years old. Kurt Suzuki just took ball 1, leading off the 5th inning. He's single leading off the 3rd. Colin McHugh evens the count at 1-1 in a 7-0 game. These Astros starting pitchers have not often had working room like this for the last several weeks. Fouled away, 1-2. Colin, with that 14-7 record, took a 1-0 loss the last time he pitched here at home against Tampa Bay. And Chris Archer, that was a 1-hitter by Archer. That was back on August 20th. And the time before that, against Detroit here at home, 7 innings, 1 run for Colin, a no decision. He left with a 1-0 deficit, and the Astros lost it in the 11th. He lost a 2-1 game at Oakland. So the last time he's had this kind of run support, the Astros beat the Angels here 10-5 back on July 28th. Astros starting pitchers are second in the American League in innings pitched with 815. That's what Colin has done so well. He gets a punch out, number 4.
Yeah, Brownie, you just read a stat there with those numbers of innings for the starting pitchers, and for me that's one of the reasons, a key reason, why the bullpen has performed so well this year. You limit the need for that bullpen, and they can stay strong and healthy and serve the team well.
That's the club record. Hank Conger just helped the Astros reach, breaking into double figures with his 10th. 10 players with 10 or more homers for a club record now. And there may be more on the way. Eduardo Escobar bats. Here's ball 1. Marwin Gonzalez has 9. Jake Marisnick 7 home runs, so they could both join that club. 2-0. Two balls and a strike to Escobar, who singled to left center in the 3rd. In that Baltimore game at Toronto, the Orioles are pouring it on the Blue Jays, leading 10-2 in the 8th inning. They jumped on Drew Hutchison. Lowry is the only guy over there, so the Lone Ranger on the left side of the infield makes that play for out number 2. Aaron Hicks comes up. He's 0 for 2. Yeah, Hutchison, who was 13-2 as he took the mound tonight, gave up 6 earned runs in 5 innings for the Jays. Chris Davis now has reached 40 bombs. He hit 2 tonight for Baltimore. Adam Jones, number 25. Matt Wieters, number 6. Davis now has also joined the 100 RBI club this year. But the Orioles have been in a tailspin. They're 64-69.
This was the year Chris Davis had to miss the start of the season, wasn't it? Suspension, or was that last year?
That was last year.
That was last year, okay.
Grounded foul, first base side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, just listening in on the Twins TV booth next door. Dick Bramer has been doing Twins TV for many years as a play-by-play guy. And he was reading a voiceover about which team can fit into the American League glass slipper in this series. Struck him out. That's number 5. Slipper may fit the Astros. They lead tonight 7-0 in the 5th.
Time now for our AT&T call to the bullpen as the Twins turn to the bullpen and bring on right-hander Blaine Boyer. 56th game of the year for Boyer. And quite effective, 2.73 ERA. Big part of the positive you were talking about for the Twins out of the pen.
That includes some time on the DL too, so when he's been healthy, he's pitched a lot, Ash. 34-year-old veteran born in Atlanta. He signed as a free agent last December with the Twins. Came to camp as a non-roster invitee. Facing Jose Altuve is 1 for 2. Altuve bounces one. It's backhanded by Plouffe. Long throw. Gets him on a close play. 1-0 for Boyer.
Well, you know everybody knows about the speed of Altuve, but you better not hang on to that baseball very long or he'll beat you. Good strong arm.
Joe Bauer went up to snag it. Out call made by Paul Schreiber at first. 1 out. Mike Pelfrey in 4 innings allowed 8 hits, 7 runs with no walks, 5 strikeouts. Carlos Correa is 0 for 2 with an RBI. He looks at strike 1. One of the Astros minor league clubs in Class A is Greenville. Greenville is beginning its playoff journey tonight, and Kyle Tucker hit a solo homer. That's game 2 of their playoff series, actually. 1 ball, 1 strike. Preston Tucker's younger brother coming through. He was a high draft choice of the Astros. Greenville lost last night 2-1 to Kingsport. Trying to square that series. It's 1-2.
Keep the Stallions coming along.
Yeah, the joke for A.J. Hinch around the batting cage tonight was, well, we don't want to let the organization down by being the only team not to make the playoffs.
That's a pretty good spin.
Little dribbler goes foul for Correa. 1-2. The minor league clubs for the Astros have combined for a .552 winning percentage this year. AJ said he had never been around an organization like that with that many playoff teams.
actually like to know the last time an organization had that kind of a figure.
That's a fair question. It's a record for the Astros organization. 7 clubs in the minors. Correa strikes out. 2 outs. Evan Gattis will follow. Gattis led off the home 4th inning with a single. He's 1 for 2. Indians lead the Tigers 8-1. They're in the top of the 9th now at Detroit. Josh Tomlin pitching well for Cleveland. That Cleveland club could really be a spoiler with the pitching the Indians have.
Corey Kluber has put together some really good numbers again.
Strike to Gattis. It's a very important road trip for the Twins. They go on to Kansas City after this series. No balls, 2 strikes.
Well, the Astros have the opportunity in this series to eliminate, to some degree, a team in that wild card hunt.
Both towards second. Mauer way to his right. Now has to turn, get back to the pitcher. Safe. Second baseman's ball. Gattis gets an infield hit. He's 2 for 3.
I'm not sure what got into the mind of Joe Mauer there. Maybe he thought the ball was hit a little too slowly for his second baseman to come on and make the play. But Evan Gattis likes the choice. Never seen a first baseman need a cutoff man to get a throw to first base with the pitcher covering.
That's a difficult play. Gattis just beat Boyer to the base. Hit number 9 for the Astros. Gattis doesn't get too many infield hits. You ought to mix in 1 at least with those 9 triples just to make it look like he's fast, right?
Make the stats look like they make some kind of sense.
Yeah.
Steal a bag somewhere.
He promises not to do
That's
that
right.
this year. Lowry's 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. Liner, and Escobar can't stop it from going on through into left center field. Gattis racing to third on a sharply hit single, and Lowry's 3 for 3 tonight. He has stung the ball tonight.
Staying right back up the middle of the last couple of at-bats. Actually, it was the previous at-bat that he took advantage of the left side of the infield. He's a steady hitter from both sides of the plate.
Ryan O'Rourke is warming up for the Twins. That's 10 hits for the Astros. Gomez is 1 for 2. That's ball 1. Astros had an 11-hit game Monday. They beat Seattle 8-3. Their team batting average was .242 when this game started. They're going to work on that. Gomez takes it, and it's 2-0. If the Astros win this game, they'll be asked after the game if George Springer provided a psychological lift, right? There's O'Rourke.
And of course the answers will be yes. But I really do think in the case of George Springer, he's such a vibrant personality. He does bring a plus.
Gomez tosses the bat away, and it's caught on the warning track. Rosario there for out number 3. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left after 5. 7-0 Houston.
And it's time to name that Astro, who was once dubbed the new Warren Spahn. Said the Astrodome was the worst field in baseball before he was traded here. Well, Wade Blassingame was a highly coveted prep star out of California and dubbed the new Warren Spahn by Milwaukee papers after the Braves signed him. He referred to the Astrodome as the worst field in baseball, and then 15 months after he said it, he was traded to the Astros while the Braves were in town. So Blassingame went on to pitch about 4.5 seasons with the Stros. And his best year was 1971 when he went 9-11 in 28 starts. So he never reached those Spahnian heights, guys. Must have been that horrible field they were playing on.
Whatever. 7-0, and there's strike one as Brian Dozier leads it off in the sixth. He's 0 for 2. McHugh puts it in for a strike, and it snowballs 2 strikes. Talking earlier about Colin, we didn't finish the point though. It's one thing Colin McHugh has done so well. If he would give up, we'll say 3 runs in the 3rd or 4th inning, he would stay in for 7. That's happened a few times. In the American League style of baseball, that is really helpful to a bullpen.
He's a battler. He didn't look like that kind of tough, rugged sort of guy when you first laid eyes on him, but well, he'll battle you with anybody.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That's McCullers goes out to battle tomorrow night against Irvin Santana with a 6-10 start. Lowry to his left. Throws to Valbuena. Dozier's retired. 1 out. Five consecutive wins with 6 innings or more, 5 strikeouts or fewer. No, 5 strikeouts or more, fewer than 3 runs. Colin McHugh, Carlos Carrasco, Clayton Kershaw, and Yordano Ventura.
So put a 6 in that column now, as Colin does have the 5 strikeouts tonight.
Maurer doubled to left, and he struck out. That's a strike. With both these teams having identical road records, 27 and 38, and home records that are excellent. The Astros 46 and 23, the Twins 42 and 26. The Astros lost 2 of 3 at Target Field, trying to give the Twins a payback. And that's a sharp single into center by Maurer, who's 2 for 3 tonight. The Astros had not lost a series at home since late May to the White Sox until Seattle won 2 of 3 to open this homestand.
Pardon me, Bronny.
I
was about to say, I'll get off your toes here, that watching Joe Mauer swing the bat tonight so well, and knowing his track record over an outstanding career with the 3 batting titles you talked about, it's hard to imagine that he came in hitting under 270.
Yeah, it is. Sano, and the Pirates were searching for Sano. The problem was at the time, and this was 09 when he was signed by the Twins, Pirates were hesitating a little bit. There were questions about whether he was actually 16 years old or not. And while that process was being checked out, the Twins decided to go ahead and commit the contract money to sign Sano. And it turned out that he was indeed 16, and it was a legal signing. Otherwise, he might be a Pirate.
You can't begin to tell me that somebody was searching for this guy and couldn't find him. That is a big man at home plate.
And he makes some big sounds with that bat. Sano didn't make any noise that time at all. It's strikeout number 6 for McHugh.
Now, we showed that graphic pregame today about Sano and the fact that he's done so well on pitches through the heart area of the plate and down, but up above he hasn't done well at all, and we've seen evidence of that tonight. Just doesn't get a good swing up there.
Trevor Plouffe double to center in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. That's ball 1. Joe Kelly started for the Boston Red Sox, had a good game, 6 innings, 2 runs. Boston leads the Phillies 4-2. They're in the bottom of the 7th now at Fenway. Jackie Bradley Jr. hit his 7th home run. In the air to right center field, George Springer moving for it. Gomez is there. Springer with the catch. No runs, a hit and a man left in the middle of the 6th. 7-0 Houston. Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Fans here at Minute Maid Park enjoying this one. Astros 7, Twins 0 on a Friday night. Fireworks coming up after the game. And the Astros have had a couple of long balls to delight the fans. Rasmus, a 2-run shot in the 2nd, number 18. Conger, a grand slam, number 10 in the 4th inning. Now it's Ryan O'Rourke on our AT&T call to the bullpen. He's pitcher number 3 for Paul Molitor tonight.
First year in the big leagues, 21st appearance on the season. He's allowed a couple of home runs in his first 15 innings in the big leagues. He's also walked 11.
One of those homers came to Chris Carter in Minnesota last weekend, a 3-run shot. Colby Rasmus with the 2-run homer and a strikeout, 1 for 2. Grounds to first. Maurer with the play. 1 pitch, 1 out for O'Rourke. Blaine Boyer in 1 inning allowed 2 hits, no runs, had no walks, 1 strikeout. Now Chris Carter is going to pinch hit for Luis Valbuena, who was 0 for 2. In view of that home run he hit last weekend off O'Rourke, A.J. Hinch sends Carter up to the plate. Carter at 182 for 346 at bats has 18 homers, 52 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, he's 1 for 10. Of course, more players available for A.J. Hinch in September, as with all the managers. Carter takes in his ball 1. He talked about that before the game, the fact that he really would like to make use of these additional players he has, but typically has not pinch hit very much at all this year. Sometimes he has 3 players on the bench. 2-0. Just about all of his players have had a decent amount of playing time, and some have been shuttling back and forth from AAA to the big leagues, but when they've been at AAA they've been playing every day, so he hasn't had players who have sat for an extended period of time on his bench this year.
I think it's a real challenge for a manager to, even during that month of September, especially if you're in the race, in the hunt, you can't just start playing guys just because. You got to keep trying to win, and so some guys will get a little rusty.
Carter takes a pinch walk. And yeah, you saw the shot of Jonathan Villar. The plan for Villar is, and he may start some, but the plan is to make him more of a bench player. He can come off the bench during a game, pinch run, stay in to play a position, and be utilized in that fashion. Hank Conger drilled a grand slam in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 2 in this game. Now to bat right-handed, where he's a 154 hitter. He has 3 home runs from this side of the plate. And there's strike 1 to Conger. It's September baseball, quite a different pattern for the managers. And yet, when your team is in first place, or in the case of the Twins, able to get a wild card spot, it's still all about winning. 1 and 2, but it's very difficult, of course, unless there's a blowout game, for a manager of a contending team to put a young player in just for some experience. That's not what it's about for either of these clubs this September. One and 2 to Conger. And also, you know, the whole script changes in September, as you've been through it many times. 7-0 lead here in the 6th inning. A manager of a team ahead 7-0 in the 6th is much less likely to call off the dogs. It's just too important a game. Popped up foul. Pitcher coming over for it. Mauer is there. Mauer makes a good catch. 2 outs.
And I don't think there's ever any question about teams going up and continuing to swing the bats, but calling off the dogs sometimes might mean you're not going to run anymore, as you take a look at what is going on tonight in the American League.
Rangers and Angels are about to start. It'll be about 8 more minutes. They'll be getting underway in Anaheim. That'll be the last series between those 2 clubs. Here's the picture. Blue Jays with a 1-game lead in the AL East. The Royals up by 13 games. The Astros are ahead by 2 games. Springer with a roller to second. Dozier on to Mauer at first to end the 6th. With no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. After 6, 7-0 Astros.
The Force is arriving in Houston this Sunday as Minute Maid Park transforms into the world of Star Wars. Come dressed as your favorite character and watch as the Astros take on the Twins at 1:10 p.m. For more information, visit astros.com/Star Wars, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
By the way, did you see the guy getting the selfie with Chewie? That was our very own Steve Sparks.
Was it? There goes Sparky.
Chris Carter stays in the game to play first base. We go to the 7th inning. Colin McHugh has thrown first pitch strikes to 14 of 23. And he goes up against Rosario. Eddie Rosario's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly ball to center.
Now wait a minute, just checking. If you're a Star Wars character, do you need the elevator?
No, not at all.
Didn't seem right.
But the elevator may not go to the top either. It's a 1 ball 1 strike count. Steve Sparks loves to hang out with the stars, doesn't he?
He is a star.
Two and 1. So there's a new movie coming out this weekend, Star Wars.
You're going to have to prompt me on that one, Brownie.
It's the release of the merchandise for the movie.
I've never heard of such a thing. I thought the merchandise came out after the movie.
Well, we live in complicated times, Ash. Everybody's rushing to be first. Marlins 5, Mets 4. They're in the bottom of the 8th in Miami. And a lot of talk in New York about the Dark Knight, whether he will be shut down or not. Bouncer back to McHugh. Tossing over to first, 1 out. Carter in the game now after pinch hitting for Balbuena. Torrey Hunter will follow. Now Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, apparently is approaching his innings limit for the season. He's about 14 innings short of the limit, and his agent Scott Boras has indicated it's not a team decision, it's a doctor decision, and the doctors have decided 180 innings is it for Matt Harvey this year.
Well, that puts the Mets in quite a bind.
27,807 the paid attendance here tonight. Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's that story that the Nationals had a few years back. Steven Strasburg.
1 ball 1 strike. That is a real dilemma. But consider this: the Mets have a series coming up with the Nationals. They have a 6-game lead. If they do well in that series, they might be able to skip him until playoff time.
Yeah, but does that hard line at 180 innings include postseason?
Yes.
Wow.
And does a player overrule his doctors to play with a chance to win?
I would say he has every right to.
But considering the talent of Matt Harvey, what he's achieved so far in the big leagues, and the thought that from his agent, I'm sure you could be foregoing millions and millions of dollars by risking an injury. There's a fly ball to Springer in right, 2 outs. That's difficult. And yet, as you pointed out with Strasburg, that was what, 2012, they shut him down. And the explanation of Mike Rizzo, I believe, the general manager of the Nationals at the time, was we'll have more chances to win. But have they?
Yeah. See, it's not that easy. And Nolan Ryan hit the major leagues with the Mets. He was there in the '69 season. They won the World Series, and he had the early impression that it was going to be easy to get to the World Series and then win it, for that matter. Didn't come along again for Nolan.
Suzuki takes ball 1.
I'll say another thing that I think that player, and I speak for myself, I would tell my agent when it's time to not be talking on my behalf. And if I wanted to play, I would make the choice and not my agent.
2-0 to Suzuki. Yoenis Cespedes hit his 11th home run tonight for the Mets. Three balls, no strikes. So that Angel Ranger game starting about now in Anaheim, and those two teams meeting in a 3-game set this weekend. That'll do it for their season series. Really important for the Angels to do exceptionally well in that series if they're to have a chance to go to the playoffs. Suzuki takes ball 4. We'll be keeping an eye on this one for you. It's Martin Perez tonight against Garrett Richards. Derek Holland and Jared Weaver match up Saturday, and it's Colby Lewis and Hector Santiago squaring off on Sunday. And And there you see the picture with the Rangers 70 and 62 and the Angels 67 and 66. And they are 3.5 behind the Rangers. So if they sweep, they're a half game back of the Rangers, who are currently in the wild card position, number 2 in the American League. Escobar is 1 for 2. He lines one, it hooks and goes foul. There's not nearly as much drama in the National League with the races and the wild card included. In the American League, 5 teams are within 4.5 games of playoff spots. Ten hits for the Astros, 6 for the Twins tonight. Joe Thatcher's warming up for Houston. It's 1-1. Scott Kazmir worked 4 1/3 innings Wednesday night. Scott Feldman leaving with an injury Tuesday night, 2 2/3 innings. Fouled away. It's 1-2. As much as we've talked about the return of George Springer tonight, and it is an important story, and he did get things started with a single his first time up, the Astros pitching is tops in the American League. Best ERA 3.36. Starting pitching vitally important to the success of this club. Two and two. Mike Fiers will pitch Monday in Oakland. That's an afternoon game. Scott Kazmir goes Tuesday night. Flared, and here is Correa at the bag at second for out number 3. In the middle of the 7th inning, the Astros lead it 7-0. September 4th, 1974. Astros manager Preston Gomez pinch hit Tommy Helms for starting pitcher Don Wilson, ending Wilson's bid to become the second National League pitcher with 3 or more no-hitters. Mike Cosgrove gave up a hit to Tony Perez in the 9th, and thanks to 2 walks and an error earlier in the game, Don Wilson was the losing pitcher in a 2-1 defeat. After the game, Don said he respected his manager more for making a decision to try to win the game, in spite of the Astros being 15 games out of first at the time.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. You get that shot to pitch a no-hitter, it doesn't come along for most guys ever. But for Don Wilson to have 3, that shot at number 3, it's awfully big.
Pitching change. A.J. Ochter on our call to the bullpen by AT&T comes in with no decisions, a 7.36 ERA. And he faces Jose Altuve, who hits one in the air to center field. Aaron Hicks, one pitch, one out for Ochter. O'Rourke in one inning allowed no hits, no runs with one walk, no strikeouts. Ochter has pitched 6 shutout innings his last 4 times to the mound. At AAA Rochester this year, he was 4-2 with 14 saves and a 2.63 ERA. Carlos Correa is 0 for 3 with an RBI. He beat out a double play relay in the first inning to get that RBI. There's ball 1. That made it 1-0. Colby Rasmus hit a 2-run homer in the second. 3-0 Houston. Hank Conger reached the Landry's Crawford boxes with a grand slam in the 4th, and it's been 7-0 ever since. Inside, almost hit him. 2-0. Ochter was a 46th round draft choice in 2010. He's from Toledo, Ohio. Went to Michigan State. In the air, and Mauer comes over for it. 2 outs for Ochter. Living up to his description as an extreme fly ball pitcher. His father was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, but cut in training camp. So the 46th round pick, a rarity, reaching the big leagues. Denny Hawking was the only other Twin to play for the big league club after being drafted that lower. He was a 52nd round pick in '89. He lasted for quite a long time in the big leagues.
Turned out to be a good player.
Yeah. Evan Gattis is 2 for 3, taking ball 1. In for a strike, 1-1. Pittsburgh Pirates are leading the St. Louis Cardinals 4-0 at the end of 6 in St. Louis, where the Cardinals have a home record of 48-20. That's Jay Happ on the mound, shutting out the Redbirds. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's getting late for the Buccos, with the Cardinals standing firm despite a series of injuries and leading Pittsburgh by 6.5. Pirates have lost 4 in a row now. The Pirates have a losing record in their division, 21-32. 2-2. Cardinals are 32-18 in the NL Central, and therein lies the difference. Right now, that St. Louis winning percentage of .647 is the best in the majors by far. 3-2. Astros, with 7 games remaining with the Texas Rangers, will indeed find a rivalry here in September of 2015 with the other team in the state of Texas.
4 mighty big games coming up on this upcoming road trip.
Yes. Popped up foul. Kloof is hustling over for it, and it's back out of play for the catcher as well, Suzuki. That'll be the 3rd leg on the upcoming road trip. A really important 10-game trip. Starting in Oakland Monday afternoon. It's rare to have an afternoon game starting a road trip, especially across 2 time zones, Ash.
You're going to be a part of that one in Arlington, I know.
In Arlington, you and Blummer back together again in Oakland. Then you go to Anaheim, right? So
yeah, Oakland to Anaheim, and then one more time out to the West Coast, Seattle, on the final road trip before going on to Arizona to conclude things.
Well, it's all right there, and it's all going to be really exciting in the month of September. 22 games remaining for the Astros within their division. Gaddis strikes out. It's a 1-2-3 7th. It's 7-0 Houston after 7.
Season long with MLB.com. At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet.
Colin McHugh in command. 7 innings of 6-hit shutout baseball with 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for Colin. He begins the 8th inning. Lefty Joe Thatcher in the bullpen. There's a right-hander as well for Houston with Aaron Hicks fouling it. There's strike 1. Hicks is 0 for 3. Astros Class A affiliate Greenville beat Kingsport tonight in the playoffs 6-2 to square that series at 1 game each. It's Josh Fields warming up for Houston in the bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fields has joined Thatcher there. Fields pitched Wednesday night in the Astros 8-3 loss. Going through with it, Hicks goes to a 1-2 count. Lowry backhands, off balance throw, and safe at first. Carter unable to pick it up on a hop. And Hicks reaches.
Heck of an effort by Jed Lowry. I'm not sure if he might not have had a better shot if he had immediately planted the right foot and tried to get something on the throw, but that is some kind of effort to try to get the out. Had to back up to try to get any kind of reasonable hop at all. Pretty nice job of hitting there, staying on top of that pitch up and away. But you can see, was there a chance? I don't know, maybe to stop, plant, and throw.
That's hit number 7 for the Twins. Dozier's 0 for 3. Taking ball 1 upstairs. McHugh can take his career record to 2-0 against the Twins with a win tonight. He's working on 8 days rest tonight since that last start August 26th against the Yankees. The shift is on. Altuve fields it, steps on second, throws to Carter, perfectly shifted for a 4-3 double play.
I think Jose saw that play before he ever had the ball in his glove. He knew exactly what was going to happen.
106 pitches for Colin McHugh, and that'll do it. An outstanding night of 7 2/3 innings of shutout pitching for Colin McHugh. Win number 15 could be his later tonight. Standing ovation from this Good Friday night crowd. 7-0 Houston back in the turns it over to lefty Joe Thatcher after an excellent night on the mound.
Just one of those nights again for Colin McHugh. Sharp all night long. Able to utilize that slow curveball mixed in with the hard slider cutter and some well-spotted fastballs. Occasional changeup. But Colin just keeps pumping out the good efforts.
Thatcher comes in and faces Joe Mauer. Mauer is 2 for 3. The Texas Rangers do have another series with the Angels. Glad for a correction on that from one of our friends on Twitter. They play October 1st through the 4th, it appears. So I was incorrect earlier when saying this is their final series of the year. Still 7 games left between those two. There's strike one to Mauer. But this is urgency time right now for the Angels. They're batting in the bottom of the first. Texas failed to score in the top half. 1 ball, 1 strike. For this weekend only, the Astros will be big Angels fans. Foul back by Mauer, 1-2. Fun time of year to scoreboard watch, especially with late games. And as you and Plummer, the gang, make the trip out west. Let's see, is Julia going on that trip?
I believe so.
Okay, as you guys are out west, we'll be staying up late.
Well, that trip could tell a big part of the tale.
2-2. The Astros went 3-3 on their last trip to New York and Minnesota. And if they could approximate that kind of a 500 trip, especially in the head-to-head games with Texas, those 4 in Arlington, that could really put them in good stead.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the Rangers have had the number on the Astros this year. 8-4.
3-2 now for Thatcher. Thatcher was designated for assignment by the Astros. That was July 21st. This is his first game in a Houston uniform since July 18th against the Texas Rangers. He's been in AAA. That strike 3 call. Mauer's caught looking to end the Twins' 8th inning. It's no runs a hit, nobody left. It's 7-0 Houston. Fare now at southwest.com. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. Changes for the Twins. They trail the Astros 7-0. They've made some substitutions. As you check around Minute Maid Park, get some of the memorabilia. Kenny Vargas in at first base for the Twins. Joe Mauer leaving after going 2 for 4. Vargas. They have a new pitcher as well and a shortstop change.
That new pitcher, Michael Tonkin, 25 years of age, stands 6'7". So they've had some big fellas running out there tonight. Third year in the major leagues, all with the Minnesota Twins. And he's still looking for his first major league decision.
Well, he probably won't get one tonight, will he?
Not likely.
Now the Astros have Jonathan Villar pinch hitting for Jed Lowry. Lowry coming out of the game after going 3 for 3 tonight. And Villar, as the home plate umpire, was getting the substitutions from the Astros bench and A.J. Hinch. Villar, with a .263 average, has 1 homer, 7 runs batted in. He's had 95 major league at bats this year. He's 1 for 4 pinch hitting. .273 is a left-handed batter. And he's taking strike 1. We are one of the September call-ups for the Astros. Escobar's moved to second base. Danny Santana is in at shortstop now. Villar checks the swing.
A lot of times we'll talk about quiet bats and quiet body approach in taking pitches. A lot of movement here by Jonathan Villar. That bat has started with each pitch and the body moving with it.
3-1. Tonkin is 6'7", 25 years old, from Glendale, California. A 30th round draft choice in 08 by the Twins. He had 25 games for them last year. Ground ball sharply hit into center field. And Villar is aboard. That's the 11th hit for the Astros.
You may not get many chances in the month of September as you come up if you're Jonathan Villar, one of those guys, but take advantage of the chances you get, and you never know what comes in the future.
Well, in a race this close, a big hit off the bench could decide something awfully important. Carlos Gomez is 1 for 3. There's strike 1. You've seen it happen, Ash, time after time. Somebody is called up in the month of September and gets a big hit. Gomez taps foul, 0-2. That's why it's a good idea what A.J. Hinch is doing here, to give some bench players an at-bat or two. Beautiful little girl. Try to keep them sharp the best way he can, especially Villar. Does not figure to start a lot of games unless there's an injury.
And it's not just for that individual player, but it's for the team if that individual player can be the guy that helps you win a ball game. Tomorrow's pitching matchup is brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car? He's a long, tall Texan. Lance McCullers is the guy going to the hill for the Astros. He'll be opposed by a guy that's been tough against the Astros, Ervin Santana.
Is Lance an adopted Texan now?
Well, you know what? While he wears that Astros uniform, we're going to say yes.
It's a Texan. All right. Colby Rasmus ripped an upper deck 2-run homer in the second. He's 1 for 3. The infield shifts around. Chris Carter on deck.
I didn't notice if he had the, what was it, Spider-Man shoes that he initially brought to the big leagues?
They're not being
Batman.
loud.
Okay.
No, they're not being loud. 1-1 with Michael Phillies warming up in the Astros bullpen. Rangers and Angels are at 0-0, bottom of the second inning. Martin Perez pitching for Texas. Garrett Richards for the Angels. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So can the Angels shake off all their problems and have a good series against a Texas club which is much better after the trades? Cole Hamels deal has really helped their rotation. And they're 8 games over 500 right now. 2-2, the all-important loss column, as it's termed, finds the Astros with 61 losses and the Rangers with 62 losses. The Astros have played 2 games more than the Rangers. That's why people focus on the loss column. Line shot into right field. VR to second base. He is stopped there by Gary Pettis on the sharp single by Rasmus. Is 2 for 4.
So with what you said, some people would say it's really more like 1 game separating the 2 teams, and the other games, those 2 games that the Rangers have played less than the Astros, in the Rangers' hands.
Right, and that's the thinking. Well, they haven't lost them yet, so you can't assume that they will.
Of course, on that flip side, assuming that they can win those 2 games is a tough one as well.
Right. Could certainly go that way. Chris Carter has walked in the 6th inning. Pinch hitting for Valbuena. He whips that liner foul. There's strike 1. And you look at players in this inning like VR and Carter, neither of whom has played much recently. Of course, VR just got called up again for his 3rd stint. Carter has had some starts here and there. Hard to tell where things are going with Chris Carter in the starting lineup in the month of September, but these at-bats in this game could be precious because they may not get many. If they came up the last day of the season with the game on the line, maybe it would have helped to have had a few. Preston Tucker figures to come in for some pinch hitting assignments, especially because he's hit 2 pinch hit homers this year in 5 at bats.
Yeah, that's a guy I would think you really want to keep sharp, but it's going to be tough getting him in there for a lot of starts.
It really is. That's a strikeout for out number 2. The skipper is going to try to figure out a way to do it. Conger with a grand slam in the 4th is 1 for 3. You know, you use the term manager in baseball for the leader of a major league team. Some people say coach because it's coach in the other sports. And the term manager began way back in the 1860s when professional baseball was just starting with the Cincinnati Redlegs. That's strike 1 to Conger. By the way, Preston Tucker comes out to the on-deck circle because originally that person booked the hotel rooms. He handed out the money to the players. He was, in effect, managing all the affairs of the players, not just directing the team, but the team as a manager, and that term is stuck. That's a hit into right center field. VR around 3rd. He comes in to make it 8-0. RBI single and a big night for Conger. His 5th run batted in. Rasmus to 3rd.
Well, that's really taking advantage of an opportunity. Jonathan VR gets it started. Can you imagine asking your manager after a rough day to see if he could book you a rental car? Hank Conger, he hasn't put up a big batting average by any means this year, but he's got a lot of power from that left side.
Now it's Preston Tucker. He's in George Springer's spot. George was 1 for 4. Got things started with a 1st inning single. That's a flare going foul into the seats. Strike 1 for Tucker. Tucker has hit .250. He's had 272 major league at bats this year. 12 homers, 31 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, 2 for 5, 2 homers, 4 runs batted in. He started Wednesday night going 1 for 4 with an RBI. 0-2. By the way, Tony Sipp was to have had more testing done on his back before the game tonight. And we could learn more by tomorrow on that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Conklin has given up a run on 3 hits in this inning. But the manager, then, that term stuck and has been the case ever since the 1860s. It's a manager, not a coach, and in a time like this, you know, the month of September with all these players, it really is a case of trying to manage the roster, manage each player, and make sure, to the extent possible, each player is kept sharp. Some players require more at bats than others to keep sharp. Foul ball. Kyle Tucker, Preston's younger brother, hit a big playoff homer tonight for Greenville. Enjoyable Friday night for them. And another foul ball scatters them on the Astros bench. Conger had a 5 RBI game last year, May 11th of 2014 at Toronto. When Conger hit that homer earlier, he became the 11th catcher in club history to hit at least 10 home runs in a season. And it's the first time multiple catchers on an Astros club have hit 10. A strikeout, and that's it for the 8th inning. 1 run scoring on 3 hits, 2 men left. 8-0 Houston after 8. Eight to nothing ball game. The Astros lead it. Stay tuned after the game. Bart Ennis and Mike Stanton break down all the action from tonight's game, plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more on the Astros postgame show presented by Houston Methodist. We have many changes now going to the 9th inning for A.J. Hinch as these fans enjoy a little wave on a Friday night. Michael Feliz, the rookie right-hander, out for his 2nd Major League appearance. He was just promoted from Double-A Corpus Christi for the 2nd time to the big leagues. In 15 games at Corpus, he was 6-3 with a 2.17 ERA as a starter, striking out 70 in 78 2/3 innings, walking 20. His secondary stuff has really improved, and his fastball will reach the mid to upper 90s probably, Ash.
Yeah, one of those intriguing arms that you get a chance to get a glimpse of, at least at this point of things. Tonight's Key to the Game is brought to you by your Houston area Chevy dealers. Colin McHugh was facing Miguel Sano, the big fella. early in the ball game, and we showed this where Sano was able to hit well low and middle in the strike zone. First at bat, he got a base hit on this pitch down and away, right in that red zone we showed you. From there on, it wasn't such an easy night for Sano. Pitch up and in, tied him up. Terrible looking swing. This one as well. Colin McHugh, no doubt trying to go up the entire game, but left one down. That mistake cost him a base hit.
Now Sano faces Phillies, and it's strike one on the foul ball. Sano 1 for 3. McHugh 7 2/3 innings, 7 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 106 pitches, 66 strikes. That pitch upstairs takes the count 2-1-1. Phillies started 4 days ago. He's had 4 days rest, so this would normally be his day to pitch had he stayed at AA Corpus Christi. Throws a slider there, and it's 1-2. Michael is making his 3rd major league stint of the year, but he's only pitched once. He did not pitch the last time he came up for 3 days. Tap foul. He worked a scoreless inning against the White Sox for his major league debut. That was back on May 31st. He's ranked very high among AA pitchers since he made his AA debut. He ripped it by Sano and got him on strikes.
So there's that high fastball again, getting Sano. 94 on that heater. Still not seeing anything near that approaching 100-mile-an-hour type velocity, but at least a better swing here from Sano. Still time to go take the bat back to the bat rack.
Trevor Plouffe has a double in 3 trips. That's foul back, strike one. Jake Marisnick has gone in to play center field for the Astros. Preston Tucker's in left. Colby Rasmus has moved to right. Jonathan VR is at third base after pinch hitting for Jed Lowry. Line drive, foul. No balls, 2 strikes. The Astros shooting for win number 74 of the season. Rangers and Angels 0-0. Top of the 3rd in Anaheim. Fastball, punch, foul.
Fastball's starting to run up there pretty good now, 96. So I'd have to say Phillies is just kind of getting it loose.
Congratulations to Harry Shattuck, who will be honored here in late September at the ballpark. September 23rd, taking his place in the Media Wall of Honor. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Harry had a 40-year career from 1970 through 2009 at the Houston Chronicle. He was the Astros beat writer for 14 years.
And did a great job.
He really did. He was the president of the Baseball Writers Association of America, our Houston chapter, I believe.
Think of Harry Shattuck and Kenny Hand kind of side by side in those days.
There they were. Kenny was with the Houston Post. A strikeout of Plouffe takes care of out number 2 for Phillies. Phillies is from the Dominican Republic. He's 22 years old. He's listed at 6'4". Last year he was at Class A Quad Cities. He began this season as Baseball America's 5th-ranked Houston prospect. Eddie Rosario is 0 for 3. He looks at ball 1. The Astros have 12 shutout wins this year. One ball and 1 strike. Angels are now batting in the bottom of the 3rd, scoreless with the Rangers. 2-1, working the off-speed pitch in. White Sox have blasted Kansas City 12-0 on the bottom of the ninth now. George Springer returned to the lineup with a 1-for-4 night. Got the offense kick-started. Popped up. VR over toward the left field line. Tucker behind him. Tucker will watch VR take it for out number 3. And the Astros shut out the Twins. They go to 74-61. They're 2-2 against Minnesota. Phillies gets the final 3 outs. Colin McHugh now a 15-game winner. And he and Dallas Keuchel have combined for 31 of the Astros' 74 wins. Final score tonight is Houston 8, Minnesota 0.